Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing tonight? All right, are you ready for this? So, not nearly as bright as I thought it was going to be with the windows open, but we've also been getting some cloud cover today. So we are going to be playing. These are the things I should really check before I go live. We're going to be playing a little bit of Homebody. Homebody. Okay, it's opposite. What I want. Okay, yeah. My brain will never be able to do that because I switch it between scenes as well. So we're gonna be playing a little bit of Homebody tonight. I know I was saying I was planning on doing Overlord 2, and I've kind of forgot I was playing it, to be honest, until I looked at my list of games of like, what should I be doing this weekend outside of Friday and Saturday, because those were kind of already made up. Or I made up my mind like a week ago. But there'll be more opportunities to play it later. For now, I'm really into this game, and I would like to keep the ball rolling while I still kind of remember what I'm doing in it, and have a general plan of what I'm doing. So, yeah, it's good. All right. Controller. Continue. So we're running the oh hey, OCD, yeah. Anxiety, OCD, depression, they're all things that they kind of address in this game. I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job of like kind of characterizing it in a way that's fairly healthy. Or at least fairly healthy method of addressing it. So. we're getting this scene again. Neat. Okay, so we last time managed to get the generator down in the atrium, and we have the code to get in there now because it's 9009. To get the accumulator powered on. We need to figure out some additional things. Okay, so that all basically culminated in that. Boom, boom. These are, yeah. Look, pumps guide. I think the next course of action, because I'm still not sure how to solve that locker, is to get the 29 PSI in that pump. I think this shows me the orientation for everything I need, but what can help me out is... No, I'm not even gonna bother graphing it out. We're just gonna do some trial and error on this. This should buy me time to find some other things. I really should interact with the friends a little bit more. I haven't really done it much in the last few runs. Yeah, okay. Okay, because what we can do is it has to be manually reset and we have to run to do it. But I think... Okay, so this is 5 on the rightmost thing for every 1. I need to get to 29 with 17, so I definitely need to do some multiplication. I have to fill this thing up in the first section with 10 and that one with 15, so it only gives me 2. It's 25. Yeah, so if I do this... It's not enough, right? Somehow I need to get 2 extra water into that pump. I wonder if I just need to not go to the other pump. Yeah, I think that might be the case. In the meantime, investigate this. No. Okay, so it's got 8 positions. And if I remember correctly, it's down here. Francine. Emily? Was it your fault? What? The ceiling lamp crashing to the ground? You have something to do with that? I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to be sorry, Emily. I'm asking you to help make sense of this. I don't think I can. Then neither can I. What do you think of the library? You're just gonna eat your head. From an anthropological standpoint, they're fascinating. It's fun painting a picture of someone based on the contents of their bookshelf. As for the books themselves, they're not bad per se, but very outdated. Yeah, what can you tell about the homeowner from these books? I would guess he's very much a product of his time, and I suspect a number of drugs. He seems to have stopped collecting sometime in the 70s. There are signed first editions by Gary Snyder, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, but none of the spines are broken, like they were never read. More of a collection than a library, maybe? Absolutely. These books are here to be surrounded by, not necessarily to be read. You're piecing stuff together about the owner of the house, huh? I forgot you didn't get to meet him. His name is Parker Nest. He seemed like a pretty charming person. Maybe a little eccentric, though. He aggressively mentioned the parties he used to have here, how some of them ebbed and flowed for weeks at a time. So the weird old man who owns this place is way cooler than we could ever hope to be? From a certain point of view, sure. He clearly wants to reminisce about his glory days, casually dropping names of dead writers he knew. He kept mentioning Ken Kesey, the electric Kool-Aid acid tests. It seems like they were in the same beatnik milieu. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Oh. Though I couldn't tell if Ness saw it as a party or an experiment. When you met him, was he wearing a black turtleneck? He was wearing a green cardigan. I understand the joke you're making, but no. One who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Nice. Does he still have the goatee, or did he go full sea captain beard in his old age? Clean shaven, actually. I was surprised too. For all we know, he's an acid casualty who was in the right place at the right time. And I'm not about to go snooping for evidence to the contrary. I get it. I feel like you'll know somehow. I don't mean to sound mistrusting. I'm more worried about our security deposit than anything else. But if you're more comfortable digging, knock yourself out. I read something interesting about the homeowner. Emily, are you just snooping around the house so you don't have to talk to people? What? Is interesting. Yeah, so are your friends who you haven't seen in a year. Go talk to them. I found something else about... Okay, so... that one fell out of the middle, so... let's do something really quick. let's move them all to the 1 position. That should be interesting. Because this should tell me where they all start. Damn. Running out of time, running out of time. Man, you're still just up there. Z. Okay. So they are... D, S, E, U, E. U, X, Y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. And then that one was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So let's go ahead and just nix this. I want to try that power or that pump. Hey, Pete. Hi, Emily. So, Emily, do you want to hear a secret? Yes. Good. The synth pad plays 3 samples in a sequence, with a column of buttons corresponding to each individual sample. The top 3 buttons in each column choose the sample played in each slot, and the switch at the bottom controls the pitch. The switch's middle position plays a sound at a neutral pitch, the upper position plays it at a higher pitch, and the lower position at a lower pitch. Good luck out there, Emily. Okay, interesting. Food for thought. No, it just starts with 17. Okay. Oh, I am being stupid. Garage. We could do that. And then Okay, so I could control it this way and have a pretty decent variable. So 10 automatically taken out of there. How much do I want to have hit there? 20. I have 2 hit that. 15 if I have 2 hit that. That'll be 25. Got it. Don't get fried, stay inside. While the water in a swimming pool can conduct electricity, your body is actually a much better conduit. And unlike the water in your pool, your body has a heart that lightning's sole purpose is to stop. Remember, lightning can hurt you before it's even raining. Lightning knows where you are. Lightning is faster than you. Enjoy water safely. Okay. Can't do that yet. My flare. Uh-huh. I'm not gonna walk into that water because I'm willing to bet as soon as lightning hits, it's gonna zap that water. Hey, dude. Okay. Now I know how to solve that thing. Does it have to all be purple? $18, but I have no idea what the target PSI is. Okay. Fine, that one's way more complex. So we'll probably come back to that. Cliff, I've been wondering, where did you end up after the last time I saw you? Huh? You quit your job at that old construction site, right? Did you end up getting a new job? Oh, that. Yeah, I ended up coming back around after a while. Enough people bailed around the same time that they got desperate. Did they offer you higher pay? Nah. Though now Mark lets me come over and play the Twilight Zone pinball in his garage. Cliff, you're an electrician, right? What do we do if there's a power outage? Not if you ask the IBEW, but yes, I'm an electrician. Why do you ask? You never know. Nothing wrong with being prepared, I guess. All we need to do is reset the breaker. That's basic as hell fix. Problem is the breaker box is usually close to ground, which would put it in the cellar, and the cellar's locked. I think the lock automatically releases when the power is off. Oh, really? That's interesting. If it's an electromechanical lock, it should have a fail-safe mode for when the power's off. So the homeowner does trust us, about as far as he can throw us. Normally those types of locks are used for fire escape doors, so people don't get trapped. And the building owner doesn't, building owners don't get sued. That doesn't help us to get down there, though. You have any idea how to unlock the cellar door without waiting for the power to go out? It's a lock with an electronic keypad. That takes 3-digit code. I've already tried some of the most common passwords: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the lines and diagonals, really. Stepping away for a moment. Okay. Have you tried 666? I did. I told you. I already tried the most common passcodes. And 667. And 420. When you think about it, 420 is actually a really great passcode. It's just predictable enough to be unpredictable. Emily, I'm not going to judge you if you use 420 or 69 or whatever as a passcode. It's a good bit. But we don't need to worry about that right now. If it's open, let's head down there and get it fixed. There's a really big pump in this house. Do you know how that works? Yeah, I've seen a pump like that before. Only at serious industrial jobs. Like the ones I used to work with Martin. Before the accident. Anyway, pumps like that don't have a set amount of fluid they draw from a tank. They take all the fluid they can get. In that case, if you want to draw less fluid into a larger pump, you have to draw fluid away from the tank into another pump somewhere else first. Okay, so yeah, if we need to reduce the draw, we need to go somewhere else for the draw. Hey, Megan. Hey, does the wood of this place kind of give you the heebie-jeebies? Huh? Like the color? No, I mean the wood itself. It feels like hollow, brittle, a little soft maybe. Yeah, Cliff said earlier that it might be termites. He said that to me too, but like, damn, it feels worse than that. If I stand still for too long, I feel like I'm gonna sink into the floor, like it's soft and damp. Ew. Tell me about it. I don't know. None of us do. It's so strange. Hey, Gary. Hey, remember earlier when you asked about how I was doing and I said things were good? Yeah, sure. Well, things are good. A little too good. I have this thought I just can't get out of my head. It's like when things are going conspicuously well for a character on a TV show, you know they're gonna die before the end of the episode. Did anything precipitate that feeling? Nope, totally opposite. There hasn't been a disaster in a while, so I think I'm due for one. I relate, Gary, but this doesn't sound like you. That's what my mom said, but things change, I guess, right? Hey, Francine. Emily. I don't know what's different between me and the others, but I can see that something is wrong. Somehow I think you have something to do with it. Francine, You don't have to say anything. There's nothing to discuss. I don't know if we could discuss it even if we wanted to. Which I don't. I found something else about Parker Nest. How's the trip been treating you so far? It's been good. A few wrinkles, but mostly good. Everybody's still basically themselves after all this time. Cliff's a bit of a prick, but what else is new? And Gary and Megan have been really getting along, though Megan has mostly been parked in front of that video game. Megan's self-isolated? Is she okay? No, it's nothing serious. It's clearly exactly what she wants to do, even though she's been spending a lot of the trip staring at that screen. Admittedly, it's a pretty cool old screen. Sure, I mean, her curiosity is always infectious, even if she has a narrow focus. By the way, I really do hope it isn't too stressful for you to be out here in the middle of nowhere. I know how hard it can be for you to be trapped in places you're not familiar with. I'd rather be in here than outside, at least. Good point, the woods around here are dark. But I guess that's kind of how I always feel about being outside. Like when we were trapped at that Brockridge Mall, remember? Oh Christ, yes, I do. They built the mall's parking lot like a big basin, without any sewers to drain into. One night worth of bad rain and yeah, a couple of teenagers get stuck there overnight. Right, a sleepover in a shopping mall overnight isn't quite the fantasy TV would have led me to believe. But back then you were the real post for me to hitch myself to. You being there made that night manageable for me. Same. Do you know anything about the Clara that Nest was involved with? Was involved with. At least that's what I think, based on the way he talks about her. He talked about her? When? When was he when he was showing you the house? Yes. He couldn't stop bringing her up. Like everything about the house reminded him of her. Are they family? Her name is Clara Jones. He said she had an engineer degree. They met in the art community in the late 60s. They had a kind of art collective thing here with them in the 70s and 80s. Very bohemian. They're not working together anymore? No. He talked in past tense, a lot of long, wistful looks. It was in their youth, he said. She dabbled in exploratory art installations, and he used his relationship with her to toy with what he called experimental areas in the realm of physics. Which means they were in the same parties. And on the same drugs, yes, but I think it went deeper than that. They worked together for years, and Clara helped Nest set up the electrical systems and security in this house. Apparently the whole art collective thing disintegrated a long time ago before Nest became a recluse. Tempting to trap the car with trash cans. Someone park in the area that we usually put them out in? But is he still in the house if he never uses it? Too many memories, maybe? Or maybe the wiring isn't up to code. I don't know. In any case, Nest wasn't too eager to get into specifics. Is the big dude just hanging out in here? No. Did you hear something just now? I did. It sounded like something breaking. Ah, fuck. Stay. Okay. Okay, so it's stay, so that would be 2, 3, 1, 8. No. It should be a 6. 3, 4. I think. What the fuck is that? That face opened up. She doesn't even go here. Buh. Hey, Pamphine. Hey, Francine. Remember that nursing home pamphlet, Francine? What was that? What was the title on that one? Glades of Grace, Melancholy Place, Pet Friendly, or Piss Pan Lapdogs Only? Yeah, that was it. I was just thinking about how ridiculous that Come to Jesus' turn was. I think about that brochure a lot. It said that the family member's passing is a moment of awe. Please. I remember that. Pretty weird. As if watching someone straight up die is some amazing thing. They're confused and they're scared, and it's a small and sad, and the room smells like rubbing alcohol, and that's it, and it's done. Man, I miss when that pamphlet was funny. Has anyone heard from Pete? I don't know. I miss him, but I'm sure he'll be fine. No. Okay, so we don't know 1, 2. We do know it's 1. No, we don't know the last one. Maybe it's 6 for that. Then maybe it's... Oh, that's because I'm being an idiot. So we're on 4. Y was 2. So I think S is 8. S is 8 on both counts. So Y is 2. That would mean T is 7, I believe. Let's go ahead and try this combination. Eight, 7, 1, 2. Combination extends the lightning rod. It looks like this thing is set up to get power from the lightning, Frankenstein style. Now that the lightning strikes, there will be a unit of power for the accumulator. I just have to figure out that last generator then. 8, 7, 1, 2. Fuck, that got me. So I think if they do notice the crazy crap, they're just like our character and can't actually say what's on their mind. It's been good. Cliff's been a little clingy, but it's been good. It's been good just hanging out and taking in the atmosphere. Not quite like old times, but I guess we can't expect them to be. Have you seen Francine much? Some, definitely. A little bit of Francine. Honestly, she's been spending most of her time up in the weird homeowner's weird old study. It's weird how you see people again for the first time in a while and they seem like exaggerated versions of themselves. But I know that's in part because I'm exaggerated too. Megan. That door wasn't originally closed when we were starting this. Family, I've been thinking a lot lately about Diane Kendall, our painting teacher. You remember her? She was always trying to push people to make their work have references to the Bible. And Alice in Wonderland, yeah. Sometimes both at the same time. I've been thinking lately about this conversation we had during a critique. I said my piece was about wallowing in existential misery, how that cycle was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh yeah, I remember that period. What period do you mean? That period in your art? It's a bit of a crutch, I'll admit, though Miss Kendall didn't phrase it that way. As I described the piece, she laughed and said she remembered feeling that way. Like it was charming to her to remember a time when feeling lost or scared was relevant to her. There was a pause, and I asked her what she thinks made those feelings go away. How'd that go? She laughed again, louder this time, and said that she just wasn't 19 anymore. Huh. I guess the point was like, it gets better, all things must pass. I think on some level I wanted to feel insulted, but ultimately I think the point was, you'll have perspective on this someday. How's that working out? So far, kinda. Diane was in her 50s. It's gonna take me a few more decades, I guess. Anyway, for some reason I haven't been able to stop thinking about that this weekend. Hey, Cliff. Emily, how are you feeling about the vibe around here? Does it seem like the others are a little prickly tonight? Gary implied that you were frustrating people. Yeah, fuck. I thought so. I saw myself acting out, but I couldn't help it. They say all good things come to an end, but they don't tell you a lot of good things just last long enough to go bad. Like The Simpsons. Everything is okay. Never too late? It's never too late, Cliff. The other kids do care about you. Maybe, but I don't know. It's like I've tested their patience a few too many times and it's gotten stretched out. Once I'm done with food, we're gonna eat, and I think literally question mark. Page of details about parking on the paved driveway. The separate fees incurred for power washing of motor oils, power steering fluid, antifreeze, and wiper fluid. Open to a page of fees will incur if we don't follow the rules. Failing to follow the rules, incurring a fee is listed as one of the rules that incurs a fee. That's a The number of inches each throw rug is supposed to be from the walls of the room it's in. It suggests using a T-square to ensure perpendicularity. So that's the absolute minimum I can do. Glad I don't need to mess with the locker again. If we can force Pete to trigger. Well, Emily? Well, Emily, looks like it's your lucky day. Huh? We're here. Roadhouse that burned down? Guess so. Welcome back to town, Emily. Wasn't expecting felony arson on this trip, and I refuse to become an accessory after the fact. Don't worry, I left a note saying you did it. What happened here? According to my phone, it burned down almost a year ago. The website said it was open. Oh, it's open, all right. I'm gonna climb on the hot dog. Me too. Do not get on the hot dog. Guys, I'm serious. Don't be idiots. I can't believe I dragged us all the way out here for this. Pete, you okay? Pete, you knew? Why didn't you tell us? God, somebody's gonna get hurt climbing on that hot dog. I just know it. Come on, Francine, they're adults. What's the worst that could happen? Emily, you should know that by now. Wait, what does the hot dog why does the hot dog have bastard written on it? I don't know. I'm a bastard. You're not a bastard, Gary. Get off the hot dog. Not like anybody ever listens to me. Why should they start now? Yes, you are, Gary Hook. I think you just gotta let go of what you can't control, Francine. I think you liked me better when I was beneath you. Did you hear all that, Megan? What did I mess up there? Well, Francine loves a plan. I know you and I don't care, but she does. I know, I just don't want her to be stressed out about it. I get that, but... Still. Maybe not the first thing I would have said to my best friend who I haven't seen in a year. Hell, I guess I really whiffed that one. Nah, things are just changing around here faster than we can keep up with. Yeah. It's not like it's a bad thing necessarily. First time we did this, we didn't need to plan shit. It just happened. The only reason we ended up here was because we thought a giant hot dog was some kind of tourist trap. Which it was, decades before it became a gnarly karaoke joint, and then they kicked us out at 2 a.m. Us drunk idiots who saw stars streaking across the sky. Amazing. It was pretty magical. Yeah, even Cliff was being just like really earnest and positive. For karaoke, he sang the song Sandy. And he did a big swaggering Springsteen impression. Then, like 20 minutes later, when it's his turn again, he gets up and does Sandy again. Only this time without the impression. How obnoxious. Isn't that song like 8 minutes long? Sure, but there was something kind of tragically sweet about it. He seemed so earnest the second time there were tears in his eyes. Even if it was bullshit that he saw himself in the song, it still kind of humanized him for me. Huh. I think I went and hid in the bathroom until it was over. Yikes, a bar bathroom? Was that trade worth it? The Roadhouse bathroom was particularly nasty too. I wonder if it's better as a burned out husk. I wonder if I'm better as a burned out husk. No. Everyone's happy that you're here. It's pretty touching that you'd come all the way out here just to see us. Actually, I'm in town for a funeral. My grandma died. Oh, I'm so... No, really, it's okay. I don't really feel anything about it. Well, except maybe I'm a monster for not feeling anything about it. Someone guilting themselves for feeling has not once ever in human history gotten rid of the feeling. Yeah, so I guess I'm stuck with it. I'm just relieved she's not suffering anymore. Watching her regress to the point where that she thought all of us were dead people coming to get her was pretty devastating for my mom. That can happen? Yeah, it's pretty par for the course with Alzheimer's. Going back to an earlier time in their brain, singing songs from their childhood. There's also a delusion you can have where you think everyone in your life has been replaced with imposters. Crapgrass disorder or something. Well, that's horrible. Yep. Say, do you have any use for some kind of, for some melted plastic cutlery? That's very specific. Check it out. It's like Rat King of forks and little plastic swords they stick cherries with. What a find. I gotta get a picture. Tori's gonna love this. What are you doing here? Where's Pete? A good question. I never met your friend, Pete, and I've met everyone here. I've seen him walking around, made eye contact with him, but there's nothing there. I don't think he's anyone. If Pete's not Pete, then who the hell are you? Also a good question. Har. You do realize this is a pretty stressful situation for me, right? I'm sorry. I feel a strange energy here myself. I can't tell if I want it to end or to last forever. There is little I can do to help you now, but maybe it may be a small comfort. But if you have questions, I will do my best to shine a light in the dark. Jesus Christ, can you talk normal? I'll try. What is that thing? The thing with the knife? I don't know. I used to feel oddly proud about it. Or of it. I thought I created it. That it was the only thing I've ever created. Now I'm afraid it might not even be true. I've got nothing to show for all this. My life, just a house that's falling apart with dead people inside. You would want that as a legacy? It's more than nothing. At least it would prove that I was here. But I know that isn't true. Even if it was, what's the point? All a big mistake, big coincidence, small little man. Stupid. What is the accumulator supposed to do? It's supposed to channel life energy to assist in the reassembly of matter. It's meant to improve your vitality and lifespan. In reality, it's a cheap wooden box and general fire hazard I used to do drugs in. But here, it's not the box that I built. It's actually powerful. And it has nothing to do with me. Why can't I talk to the others? I mean, I can talk to them about pizza and video games and shit. Just not the time loop we're trapped in, or the slasher movie villain that keeps killing us. I have no idea. When I approached you at the gas station, I found myself unable to speak in anything but poetry. I thought that was just how you always talk. Then, sometime later, I found myself able to express myself fully, almost as if we had gained some kind of understanding. Or maybe I'd just lost all respect for you. What happened with you and Clara? So, what happened with you and Claire? Clara? I suppose you've had quite some time to explore. Sorry, not much else to do besides die. Well, I hope you've enjoyed sifting through the detritus a foolish young man left behind as he stumbled backwards through life. I know, I wasted a lot of time. And now, the time wastes me. Yeah, you did seem like a hack. Or you do kind of seem like a hack. One last thing. Did you really smoke weed with Hunter S. Thompson? He was in the vicinity. I see. Want one? You know I quit, Cliff. What? When? I thought you were here to burn one with me like we used to. I can't just come over here to enjoy your company? No. So the owner probably burned it down, right? For the insurance money. How good of a policy do you think they had on this hole in the wall in the middle of nowhere? Maybe it was arson? From a competing restaurant? Feels like a stretch to call the Roadhouse a restaurant. It's more like, well, we'll make you a burger if you really want one. Now that you mention it, why didn't they have a hamburger outside? Why just a hot dog? Actually, they used to have one. They got rid of the hamburger in 63. Oh! Guys, is Megan seeing someone? Oh, Tori? Yeah, wow. Never thought I would see the day. They've been engaged for like 2 years. What? Hey gang, what are you all talking about? Oh, just how Emily doesn't know shit about her friends. Shut the hell up, Cliff. Hey Cliff, Emily showed me this awesome melted cutlery racking. Want to see it? Oh yeah, that'll go great with my melted red classic Italian restaurant cup. I melted it by trying to put a cigarette out in it. TM. Later, Gare Bear. Do you think we could get sick from hanging around here? Like the burned rubble is putting stuff in our body that will kill us someday when we're not expecting it? Well, I spend every day expecting to drop dead of a mysterious and preventable illness. It would be pretty funny if I contracted it from a fiberglass hot dog. Yeah, I'm gonna die. If I'm gonna die, it at least needs to be funny. I mean, my life's a joke anyway. Needs a good punchline to make it all worth it. Gary, you're sounding a little too much like me. Are you alright? Sure, it's fine. My head kinda hurts. Behind my eyes. I'm gonna go look at that pile of menus and figure out what I would have ordered. Where did Francine go? Okay. At least nobody took a tumble from the hot dog, huh? Hey, Francine? Are you mad at me? I'm really sorry. Stop. I'm not doing this again. You're not sorry, you're scared of me. It can be both. I feel like you're waiting for a chance to tell me I'm wrong, and you're waiting for me to escalate to catch me in some mistake so you can tell me so. But Francine, I am dying to fall on that sword. I am dying for you to believe me when I tell you I know how wrong I am. This stuff doesn't work on axes of right and wrong, Emily. I know you're sorry. You tell everyone that every chance you get. You need to do something. What do you want from me? Who gives a shit what I want from you? People aren't a fucking puzzle you can solve, Emily. You're scary when you cuss. Jiminy, gosh. Oh, hey, Emily, glad you could make it. Your room's down the hall. Is that better? Is that more like the weird retrograde 2D fantasy of me you're looking for? I've been caretaking and planning and organizing and protecting and trying to stop us from tearing ourselves apart. Going through the motions for as long as I can remember. Now I'm goddamn sick of it, and I know you're hurting, but there's too much inertia for me to stop, so instead of me yelling at you about it, instead I'm here yelling at you. I know how this ends. I've seen it happen over and over and over, and I'm done trying to change it, and I refuse to take your sorries about it. I know exactly how goddamned petty I'm being, and I don't care because I've had an infinite number of nights to stew on this. What the hell? That was the thing I saw scamper last time. Okay, that was weird. Hold up, 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 hold up. Also, creature's already out. Yep. $28. Ah, shit, he's coming in. You know what? Oh! Maybe 82. Do you hear it, Emily? What? This feeling, being alive? There's a vibration, a hum to it that I've never noticed before. It's getting quieter now. There's a lot going on in the flooded room, huh? A big puzzle to solve in a room that's filling with electric death water. None of it means anything, though, if you don't know what you're trying to accomplish. Nest has got to have some instructions for that system on file somewhere. I don't understand you. If you know all this, why don't you just tell me exactly what I need to know? Why don't you just help me out of this mess? I don't know anything you don't know. Think of me as like a little college professor who's staying one step ahead of their class. I'm making this all up as I go along. I don't know shit. Then neither do I. Okay, so I need to explore other areas, probably. Oh. So things have gotten harder because that thing just lets itself out now. Where was that other space? It's behind the door. It was behind the one door. Oh, I want that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay. Oh, where else could it be, though? Am I missing something in here? You know what? Restart. Okay. So we've run out of these things. This might seem a little goofy, but I brought a copy of Pemberton Possum with me. What? Did it fall out of the dumpster into the back of your truck? No, it's mine. I paid money for it, and I also got one for my mom. She loves it. That's incredibly sweet. I'm struggling to integrate it emotionally. While you were working on that, do you think you could... While you're working on that, do you think you could sign my copy for me? It's on top of my duffel bag out in the foyer. Yes, of course. Hi, Cliff. What's up, Emily? Hey, Megan. Hey, Emily. This might be a heavy thing to ask right up front, but I'm wondering, what happened with your grandma? Last time we saw each other was right after she died, but I never heard you talk about it. You always said it was no big deal. We didn't have the best relationship. She was pretty cruel. She had a pretty tough life, and I respected her and loved her, but she was an awful influence on me. But you seemed really shaken by the whole thing. Didn't she have Alzheimer's? Things were different near the end. One of the last times she was even a little bit lucid, I realized that she was treating me like a kid, like I was her toddler granddaughter again. She told me time was cyclical, that soon it would wrap around and the dinosaurs would be back. Whoa, God, that had to be really overwhelming for her. She wasn't scared, she wasn't worried about the dinosaurs posing a threat, like she felt immortal. I guess she knew that if the cycle kept going, she'd eventually be back too. Maybe she thought that in time she'd get to see you again. I don't believe she actually knew who I was, even before she started forgetting. Gary, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but are you okay? I'm much better now, I think. You just seemed a bit down. I was, for sure. But I still feel a bit off. I still feel a bit off, but I sat down with Megan and she dropped some wisdom on me. She's good at that. What did she say? Oh, something about how sometimes it's better to embrace the bad stuff rather than try to shove it down. And that there can't be matter without antimatter or light without dark. She was way more elegant with the space stuff. I can't do it justice. Wow. Then I talked to Cliff and he tricked me into drinking orange juice to wash down a slice of pizza to cheer me up. I think. Tastes exactly like vomit. Actually, tricked isn't right. He told me beforehand and I did it anyway. You should try it. It's crazy. I think I'm good. Has anyone heard from Pete? I don't know. None of us do. I thought he'd be the first one here on the first day. Okay, if Cliff wants it signed. There, I signed it. I signed your copy of Pumbo, Cliff. Thanks. For real. You did a really good job, Em. Your paintings are amazing. That one at the end where all the baby critters are riding to the school on Pumberton's mom's back made me tear up. I just think it's sweet that kids get to read such a fun book when they're older. They'll be nostalgic for the things you drew. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, thanks, Big Shot. I'm gonna go sell it on eBay for 50 cents. Oh, don't gouge people. Stop. I'm being nice to you. Let me be nice to you. Well, just this once. See you. Yup. Is this the pyramid Francine drew? What is it doing here? Is that blood? Oh, Francine is okay. Where's Francine? Hey, Gary, have you seen Francine anywhere? Sure, she's up in the study, isn't she? Honestly, I've barely seen her all weekend. She's just been up there shuffling through those books like her life depends on it. I guess that's it. She seems pretty antisocial, huh? Yeah, I wonder what her deal is. Honestly, she seemed to be kind of upset with you. Cool. I'm gonna regret going in here right now, but let's do it. Okay. Okay, so Francine's missing. I still don't know what I'm doing. Hey Megan, thanks for talking to Gary. Sounds like you really helped him out. I was getting worried. What did I say? Oh, something about, like, darkness or antimatter? Right, that. I have a whole spiel. I think I could also use a general existential pick-me-up right about now. Well, shit sucks, right? Shit doesn't stop sucking. In fact, the older you get, things just go faster and get suckier. You spend a lot of time worrying about stuff, and half the time it doesn't even matter. And then death? Sure, eventually I guess, but that's not really my point. Once you accept that, things get easier. You gotta go through the sucky stuff or else the good stuff doesn't mean anything. I guess. I know I'm not exactly the most upbeat person around. I'm no Gary, but I mean it when I say I'm fine. Fine is a really sustainable emotional state. Happy isn't. Not for me. Probably not for anyone. I love video games. I love my fiance. I love quiet. When I'm cuddled up with Tori, quietly gaming or whatever, that's more than good enough for me. I'm not gonna lie and say it gets better, but you get better at dealing with it. I think maybe that helps. I didn't say it was a good spiel. Maybe I'm just an idiot. No. I just sound like a Hallmark card at this point. No, we're both spiraling. Oh my god. Bye. Cool. What am I missing? Hey, Pete. What's up, buddy? You holding up okay? The system in the flooded room looks like it will take several inputs in sequence. I guess you make symbols by rotating the dials in the two small rooms on the sides. After that, you lock them into place using the console in the main room. Any sign of what that note may be? Search the desk in the flooded room. There's got to be more to find. Take care of yourself if you can. Okay. Oh, I messed up. There we go. 10, 9, 11. Parker, to retrieve the instructions for the industrial pump, first print. First rewind, then print. This is all you'll ever use the mainframe form. I don't know why it's so hard to remember. In case you forget, the calibration for the mainframe is in the study. 10, 9, 12. 10, 9, 11. Oh. Advance, record, rewind, clear, append, print. Okay. Down arrow. Okay. And then I need... grab another index card. The note taped to the panel marker to retrieve the instructions first, rewind, and then print. Okay, and to do that, I need... boom, 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 and then I need boom. Okay, so in order to get that, I need triangle, square, triangle. Square, triangle, square. Well, let's go the other way. Other way. So I need triangle, square, triangle. Triangle. Print. believe is what I need. Okay, but now I do know the solution. Okay. $62 PSI. There's a note beneath that note. A note. The industrial pump uses all of the remaining fluid in the hydraulic tank, so make sure to use the fluid levels. Make sure the fluid levels in the tank are correct before operating. Okay. $62 PSI. Okay, so see, the minimum we can get before we hit the variable is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50. So it would take 10 to get there, so I would have 16 left to work with. I need to hit 62. I would need 12 more. I was 6 over. No, 4 over. So it'll be 55. No, if I go to that one, I'm gone too far. And he's already killing people up here. There you are. He's really killing it, you could say. Okay, I'm like... Straight. I literally just sat up straight.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Thank you for the hydrate. Hey, Emily. Maybe you've noticed that the big pump in the basement always puts out a PSI that's too high. If the big pump drains all fluid from the main tank in the garage, you need to change how much fluid is in the tank somehow, if you want to reach the required PSI. Do you want a bigger hint than that? Yeah. So you need to set the big pump's output to 62 PSI, right? To get the tank in the garage to the right amount of fluid, you need to activate all the pumps in the house. If you activate the pump in the bathroom first, then the pump in the cellar, you might end up with the right amount of fluid. Bye for now. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's nice they actually have that too. Is that right? That's right. Okay, so 58 PSI is what we ended up with when I did that. I probably needed to just dump into the last one. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could take 2 down from that. And end up with 15 plus 50. That's too. 2 down on that would be 60. 2 up. Okay, yeah, I've got the solution. Fuck. I needed to switch them. And now it's so dangerous to go up there. Okay, let me just make a note of how many I need it. Seven. Where? Either one. Hi. Yeah, remember earlier when you asked how I was doing and I said things were good? Yeah, sure. Well, things are good. Okay. And Francine is just gone. Um... I can't remember pump 2 solution right now. Why not? Okay. This is the mall. Kind of freaky that this mall exists under a rural house in Pennsylvania. Okay, I have a theory about the best pathing, just because that creature keeps getting out so much now. So here's the other thing. I don't think I can get up there fast enough to now do the thing, and once the lightning struck, I'm done. So now we can just reset ourselves. Hey Pete. Been a while, huh? Things haven't been hard, haven't they? Things have been hard, haven't they? The accumulator needs 3 power sources, and you've got them all individually. Now you just need to get them all in one loop. You're almost there. Just the lightning rod and mall generator and atrium generator in one go. But remember, you've got the activate the lightning. You've got to activate the lightning. You've got to activate the lightning rod before the lightning strikes. Good luck there, Emily. Okay, so I think I know the pathing I want. Go here. have one other theory about what would have been the better way for pathing to this if this doesn't turn out well. Which is actually to take the back way in. I just ran that but monster past my friends like a horrible person. Emily. Francine. I didn't mean to scare you. What are you doing up here? The lamp in the study broke again and I knew you were up here. We need to talk before you do something rash, Em. There are other things we can do, other options. I mean, for God's sake, Emily, look at that thing. Do you really think it can solve all your problems? What other choice do we have? You think you know how to get us out of this? No, Em, I'm telling you, neither of us do. Maybe there's another way out. I think I first clocked it when you convinced Cliff to get on your good side. I couldn't believe you had managed to get him out of his soul. And for a moment there, I had a glimmer of hope that this was progress for the both of us. That maybe you would help me figure out how to get us out of here. But no, you're still you. I'm begging you, don't let it come to this. Why trust a weird old man and his weird old machine? Listen, I don't want to fight, don't want this fight to end. Listen, I don't want this fight to end. I just want this to stay ugly because it's something. But we need to get out of here, Francine, one way or another. We don't know what it'll do. It could ruin... We don't know what it'll do. It could ruin everything. As if everything wasn't already ruined enough. This could be the end, Emily. Shit, watch out. Francine, I'm sorry. Another fine mess you've gotten yourself into. Go to hell. Pete could be pretentious sometimes, but he didn't talk like that. Didn't talk like the great, like the goddamn Great Gazoo. Nest made it sound like you're not really you. And you didn't trust him. You took the time to turn on his machine. Look how much good that did you. Seems like it worked out okay. I'm still here. Barely. You can't keep coming back like this forever. Turning on the accumulator almost bled the place dry. I thought the accumulator created this place. The accumulator couldn't create shit. It's a wooden box attached to one of those static electricity machines from the Science Museum. At least it was. The decades of obsession Ness put into it, and it turned into a ticking time bomb. The raw energy of it almost killed this place. So if this place dies, what happens to us? Do we get set free or what? How do you define free? Don't start with me. Truthfully, I don't know. The strength that's keeping you here is giving out. But so is the strength that's keeping here. When the strength that's finally gone, I don't know if you're no longer here or if you go out with the rest of what's here. If that makes sense. Makes about as much sense as the rest of this stuff. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk to you again after this. I don't think I'll be able to do anything after this. Since there will be a quiet moment before the thought of this house intrudes again, do you have anything you'd like to know? What's the thing that keeps killing us? It's a symptom, a side effect. So are you. Though you have a little more of a sense of self than the homunculus does. Who are you, really? For all intents and purposes, I'm Pete. What happens to you now? I don't know. That one's a little beyond me. There's a threshold I'm aware of. I can hear it. I can barely hear anything else. I'm really scared. I'm not ready to cross it. I don't think I have any choice. Still, it was good while it lasted. It was nice meeting you. Shucks. For real, why are you helping me? Like I said before, why do you think I would want to hurt you? Because you've had me and my friends trapped in this hellish memory with a meat monster that keeps killing us? I didn't create the house. I didn't create you, or the memory, or the meat monster. These things just flow through me. I don't want any of this for you. I don't want anything. If you didn't create the killer, who did? I don't know. Entropy? What is up with all these evasive answers? I can't believe Ness was more forthcoming than you. Ness just has a way with words, I guess. Alright, I feel like I'm starting to fade. I don't have the choice not to bring the house back again. The house, all of you, that night, the gravity of it is too great. Greater than me. Why? I don't know. Seems pretty pointless, if you ask me. It's been created and destroyed and recreated before, but this time, it's taking longer. I don't know how many more times it can happen again. Take care. Hey. Hey. I'm, about to head out of town and didn't want to leave without checking on me. Yeah. Do you want to come in? How's your head? Oh, it's fine. I didn't even end up spending the night. When I got home, I passed out, immediately. But I kept waking up. Something about being told you could die in your sleep really gives you fitful dreams, you know? Anyway, the doctor said I could sleep. So I've been working at it all day. I've got my sleepy time tea, I should be fine. She just said to avoid caffeine and, strenuous mental activity, I guess. Gosh, Francine. I just wanted to say that hold on. Are you here to apologize? You feel sorry. For what? I don't know. I guess just watching you fall, I couldn't help but think I could have done something about it. About what? Fiberglass hot dog collapsed. I got a concussion. It wasn't the end of the world. I really thought that dog could hold our weight. I did too. Could have broken your neck. But I didn't. You came with me to the ER. You were there for 3 hours. People have aneurysms, sometimes hours later. People hit their heads going up the stairs and die after a week with no warning. Emily, you seem really worried about hitting your head walking upstairs. This is not the first time I've heard you talk about this. I remember you having a better handle on this stuff. What's going on? I think I might be experiencing some cognitive decline. What are you talking about? I don't know. I think I'm just in town to see some fucking shooting stars or whatever, a meteor shower. And I'm stuck in this part of the process where my friends and I are like strangers. The ice never breaks. I can't get through to anyone. We're stuck in a time loop and keep living the same night over and over. The same night where everything sucks, even before a masked murder monster comes and kills us. It's so absurd that I start to think it must not be happening. I assume it just has to end somehow, that it was never real in the first place. But no, there is a masked killer, and it's some kind of Groundhog Day thing. But then even that isn't true. It's some kind of nasty fake reality we're in. I don't know. And I'm like, is there just something fucked up about me? Did I do something to deserve this? Like, I created that thing, didn't I? Willed it into being. Or is this just in my head? Am I unconscious in a car at the bottom of a ravine? Did I slip in the fucking shower or something? Emily, you can't? The worst thing about all of this is I don't even know if anything is special about it. Maybe this is just normal disillusionment. Emily, we're trapped in a time loop and there's a knife-wielding monster that keeps killing us. Ugh, I know, it sucks. It's my fault. Your fault? The alternate reality? And the murderer? How? I'm obsessed with this shit. The past. I can't let it go. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like the hot dog thing. It was stupid. Yes, blindingly, astoundingly stupid. But something about this night, when I left your apartment, whenever the hell this actually happened, I remember the look you were giving me, like future uncertain anything can happen stuff. And I fucked it up. Hermited myself away and didn't talk to you or anyone. I let it all slip. I lost my best friend over nothing. After the night at the hospital, I told myself I wasn't going to depend on anyone else ever again. I wasn't going to caretake or be taken care of. I went all in on me. And when I saw you at Nest's house a year later, I realized I was working. I guess I wasn't angry. I realized it was working. I guess I wasn't angry. Didn't feel passionate about not having heard from you. It was just a matter of fact. Oh, Francine, you don't have to apologize. I'm not apologizing. I did what was right for me. I decided I wasn't gonna give you or my dad or my landlord, who needs to come inside my apartment for a half hour to tell me he's raising my rent. I decided I wasn't gonna give anything more time or thought than I could spare. I did everything I could. I started waking up at 6 a.m. every day, meditating for an hour. I upped my therapy to as many times a week as my insurance would allow. And then when I lost that insurance, I found free counseling services that did that as much as I could. I put all of my energy, everything I had, into the thought of a future where I felt whole. Since you weren't there to carry me, I decided it was time to self-actualize. I made a full-time job of trying to be happy, and I'm still not. It wasn't enough to maintain. The yearning's still there. There's a sense that whatever used to make life magical is gone. You can't remember what it was, so you invent things. It was a video game you loved, a Halloween bucket from McDonald's. Or maybe it was a plan you make, some future time where you imagine you'll feel exactly like you used to. The reality is, things are changing, but nothing is faster than you are. The days are shorter now, and you're in pain, and there's somebody with a knife coming for you. Don't hit your head on the stairs. I'm so goddamn sick of living in the past. Sounds pretty healthy. Then why does it hurt so much? Not everything feels good all the time. So, we're not really here, are we? I don't think so. I think the house trip was probably a long time ago. I think so too. Feels like an old bad memory. Feels good to be able to talk about it. Does? Shit. Ow. 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 Both of you are bleeding from the head now. Oh my god. Are you okay? No, no. It's fine. I'll get a towel. Ow. Yeah. Ow. I guess it's kind of pathetic that we weren't able to let any of this go, huh? Yeah, I wonder when this even actually is. The present, I mean. It's sad if this is happening like a year after the trip to Nest's house. Way sadder if it's like 5 years later. Or if it's been decades and this is hell. Pretty boring hell. We're gonna die in this place, aren't we? Probably. I mean, permanently. For real this time. Probably. As planned. This is fine. Okay, so that wasn't the way out. Door's closed, so... Oh, there she is. Francine. Hey, Emily. So, we're back. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd just, like, wake up in our beds somewhere. Free from this. Same, but hey, we're not dead. Guess we have to try to figure out how to get out of here for good. Let's try. By the way, I'm sorry about that business in the attic. The fight over the accumulator. Francine, you know you don't have to apologize. I mean, Jesus, I didn't know what I was doing. That thing could have killed us. Yeah, well, it didn't. At the end of the day, what other options did we have? Sure, Pete, whoever Pete is. You were talking to Pete too, right? Yeah, at least it looked like Pete, but I don't know. It's like he's busted or something. Hello? How's your night going, Ginger Pasta? He used to be a little more him. Since you showed up, he's gotten fuzzier. Anyway, Pete said that turning on the accumulator at full power almost killed this place, so I'm thinking, why not just do that again? About that, maybe you should go check out the attic. Uh-oh. Oh, door's open. So Francine went in and checked it out. Jesus, what's going on up here? That thing's been growing in the sky. It's not the moon, it's some kind of hole. So much for turning on the accumulator again. What are we gonna do? Have a good look. You saw the attic? Yup. What the hell's going on up there? I think that full moon that's been above us this whole time is actually some kind of void. And it's getting bigger. As this place dies... Crap. What are we gonna do? You think this has something to do with the lights above the elevator? The elevator? Oh right, the one the killer rides up into the house. Anyway, that thing, the creature, the killer? Wait, what do we call that thing? Homunculus? The killer? I don't know. Zippy? I guess that works for now. Let's maybe circle back on something else later, okay? Yeah, it brings Zippy up to this crawl space into next to the bedroom on the second floor, but it's impossible to get inside up there. Right, and it passes through the little waiting room next to the cellar at some point during every loop. Yeah, and where the hell does it start? Just like someplace far beneath the house? Why would the killer be on that elevator in the first place? Ness told me about it once. Well, he didn't actually know either, but he said he figured out how to get inside. He said it had something to do with the waiting room. Some hidden sequence there. He said he got it to open himself once, but that he was too afraid to go inside. He thought it could end the whole thing, that it could solve the mystery of the loop, if not escape it outright. But he said that was too much. He was too much of a coward to do it himself. At least he was being honest, I guess. Yep. Either way, it seems unimportant. Like Zippy was coming there from there for a reason. Or it seems important. So we need to ride down that elevator ourselves? Guess so. Do you have any ideas how to get inside? Actually, I do know one thing. I heard it from Nest, actually. The last time I talked to him before he disappeared, he said he had a clue for you. Told me to put it someplace only you could access. So there's a giant void in the sky that's slowly eating this place. Yes, and when you put it that way, it does seem really bad. I don't know why I'm trying to put on a brave face. It's really horrifying. Keep trying to be brave about it too. Kinda hard to be lighthearted in a situation like this, though. Pete made it sound like this place, the version of the house that we're in, even the places from the past that we've been seeing lately, they're all part of some greater being. A living being? One that's dying? Yeah, as it dies, the hole in the sky is going to get bigger and bigger. Until there's nothing left. Francine, this is so fucked up, I hate it. Let's focus on the task at hand, okay? We have to figure out how to get out of here. Got it. Hey, so this is all in the past, right? The house, the Perseids, you and me here in this room. It was in the past? Yeah. Though I guess now it isn't. And dumb question, but there wasn't a horrifying murder monster back then, was there? There wasn't. At least not that I remember. Let's focus on the task at hand, okay? We have to figure out how to get out of here. Got it. Someplace that... Dude, are you out already? Scary. He's dead. Megan, she's dead, and she's missing her face. Oh, they're all missing. Oh, I know where it is. Okay, you know what? Go for it. I know exactly where it is. It's so great. Yeah, there's blood splatters on the suitcase now. Okay. A bunch of little rectangles labeled with names of rooms throughout the house. So we need attic on, main bedroom off, study on, bathroom on, living room on, dining room on, foyer off, kitchen off, garage on, cellar off, waiting room off, art studio on, flooded room on. Okay, study on. The bedroom's off. Okay. And it's based on the floors they're on, it looks like, for the sequence. Okay, this one's supposed to be on, this one's supposed to be on. Foyer and kitchen off, all other rooms on. Cellar, waiting room. Both off. Our studio on. This room. Which is the art studio? Oh, it's the room with the newspapers, possibly. No. It's this one. Yes, okay. On, off, on, on. On, off, on. Oh, I messed up on the flooded room. Lights on in here. Okay. And you're right there. Well, if I am. Notes to myself. Package from Francine. She sent it like a week after I moved. I kept meaning to open it. This is Laura's room. Cleaning up this area was a lot more work. It was a lot of work. It was like pulling teeth, but it felt good to do the first step. Like the rest would follow. An open from package from Francine. I let it sit for months. It's a package from Francine that I let sit unopened for like a year. Just looking at her handwriting, the stickers, the little exclamation marks, I can barely stand it. This is Laura's room. Took me a long time to finally take the sun. Take the sign down. Sticky notes, they're all from me. Some of these are really passive aggressive. In retrospect, these seem kind of excessive. I understood why Laura moved out, but it still felt really bad. Exposed muscle, breathing slowly. Is this place alive? Made out of meat? I can barely stand to think about it. Half a pair of scissors. There's some blood on the blade, like somebody cut themselves breaking them apart. Jesus, I really let this place fall apart. Francis, I'm so glad that... I just unloaded all of my boxes and books. I gotta give you some of these because this awful reading habit of mine makes moving miserable. It's crazy that I can be doing work and know that within 5 miles you're puttering about doing your thing. Congrats on the real, actual book you illustrated, by the way. I know that was always a dream of yours, so I'm so proud of you. Look at us. 2 adults with jobs and apartments in the same city. Come check out my dinky little apartment. I want to see your dinky little apartment. I want to see Laura again. Let's go to the museum or movies or get drunk and play pinball. Growing pile of mail. What a mess. Okay, so we can't. Okay. Room's empty. Sticky notes. I didn't know what else to do. Some of these are in handwriting I don't recognize. In fact, they're not even words. Did I really get it? Let it get this bad? It's turning gray, dying. This place is on its last legs. Don't have long left. Scratches. What was the thing trapped down here? Or was that thing trapped down here? I think this is going where I thought it was going. Bunch of torn up sheets and bandages and paper all torn up and mixed together. Was Zippy living here? Kind of pathetic. I think Zippy just keeps banging at the walls trying to get out. Scissors. Emily. Sorry about the mess. I don't think it's this bad in real life. Where'd Zippy go? It has to be looking for us, right? Fuck this shit, I'm out. Not anymore. It saw the door was open and made a break for it. I don't think it liked being here either. Things are going wild up above. You should see it. Up above? We can't go back up there. You'd rather take your chances out there? Good point. Well, that's different. It's not a wild classical haunted house anymore. It's just a house. Just a normal house with a normal attic. Yeah. After you went down in the down the elevator, I kinda lived and died a few more times and... Geez, really? Yeah, don't worry about it. But every time I came back, it seemed like the house was changing. It got a little smaller, less colorful. A little sadder, more like I actually remember it. Take a look around, I guess? Knock yourself out. Parker, I'm watching the sun set over the lake as I write this. The garden I told you about has finally begun to pay off. The zucchinis are just beginning to flower. My tomato plants are bearing big, misshapen fruit. My basil has come in a bit wimpy this year, but it does just fine for a light caprese salad on a night like this. I think back on the dinky little garden I tried so hard to cultivate in your side yard that summer, where everything I planted was choked out by that single rogue watermelon vine, and how we checked on that wayward little watermelon every day, joked about the seed spitting contests we'd have when it was grown, and of course, those rat bastard squirrels beat us to the punch. When we found that hollowed out rind, you were crying, laughing, and I was just plain crying, such a silly thing. Speaking of silly things, have you heard from any of the old gang lately? You'll never believe it, but I found myself getting lonesome out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure you understand the feeling. It is a joy to live alone, yes, but I found myself missing the sounds of poorly picked guitar in the early morning. The inexplicable clunk in the bowels of the house, the smell of the damp cellar mixed with clove cigarettes, the art projects, the experiments, the conversations we all had just sitting on the steps outside arguing about nothing. Kids sometimes come down to the shore off my property and smoke grass. The smell just up here and drives me crazy with nostalgia. They believe they're being sly, and I'm happy to let them think so just so long as I can enjoy their distant laughter and fun. It makes me miss you, and that house, and those people very much. I wonder if we could corral all those old folks back together for some sort of reunion. An exchange of ideas, as we would have called it then. It would be lovely to see some familiar faces again and do, well, whatever it is we aging punks do with ourselves now that we're no longer cool or relevant. Not that we ever really were, anyway. So enough of my navel gazing. Navel gazing. Are you well? What are you tinkering with? Is that cat still hanging around your back door? Do you have any books to recommend? Please drop me a line whenever you find a chance. I do so love to pick that strange brain of yours. Warmly, see. Clara, I found these while cleaning. Since I'll be around the post office today, I wanted to take a moment to send them to you. They're from another time, but somehow I still think of us as these feeble lines and the hands that drew them. Parker. Guess this is an old Grubsoft game. Looks scary. So, I guess when we're ready, we just flip the switch on the accumulator? Wait, the accumulator? That box over there? Yep. Here it's just totally normal, creepy, old pseudoscience box. Wow, might as well give it a try. What happened to the others after I left? The other kids? They all disappeared. Not long after you went into the elevator, they were just gone. And the elevator came back up and Zippy got in and out. Went after you. That's when the house started to change. What happened to this place? I have no idea. I mean, I guess I have some idea. You saw it. It was falling apart. It feels less like it shed the layers we had put on it. Or it feels like it shed the layers we had put on it. Like it turned back into Nest's old house as it actually was. Without all the emotional burden we had put on it. Exactly, I guess. By the way, what was the deal with those fleshy little creatures? Little jiggly things in Nest's house? I thought they were kind of cute. Same, I guess? Weird little walking kidneys. Wait, no. Now that I put it that way, I hate them. They sort of remind me of Zippy. Bipedal flesh lumps kinda going through the motions of human behavior. But like, baby. Almost like Zippy had more reference material to pull from. There was this time where one had gotten injured and was dragging itself towards me, whimpering and stuff. It started nuzzling my leg, like it wanted me to pet it, so I did, until it died. I think that might have messed me up more than some of the times I watched you guys die. Ugh, what did its skin feel like? Like white velvet. Who would have guessed this whole place was made out of meat? Definitely not me. Do you think that this place has been making us out of the same stuff? Don't know. I refuse to entertain the possibility. What do you think happened to Nest? In my heart of hearts, I think I'm kind of charmed by him, in spite of everything. I want to hope he got older and wiser somehow. There's a letter over there from Clara. The tone is like she's a little older and wiser herself. Sounds like Nest got back in touch with her at some point, and she's just not replying like he's preening. And she's not replying like he's a preening obnoxious jerk, so I guess he did something right. That's pretty heartening. Clara seems genuinely interesting and sweet. I feel weirdly attached to this idea of her, which might just be Nest's idea of her. Speaking of Nest's idea, did you read his doofy sci-fi? Oh, yeah, very bad. I can see the pamphlet now. Are you at risk for becoming a baby man? I see anything interesting in the sky? No, you don't. Go inside. The drawing on it is of like an old cigarette ad looking guy with lightning shooting out of his eyes. Like an old prog rock album cover. And the drawing's bad. The drawing's really bad. I miss you. I missed you too, dummy. Even if you only had a little time left, I hope that after all this, you figured out how to stop being a shut-in. I hope that after all this, I figured out how to stop being a shut-in. You're never too old to not have figured... You're never too old to not have... To have not figured any fucking thing out, I guess. I always thought you had it more figured out than me. Well, I'm glad the elaborate ruse of my entire personality worked. What do you think happened to the other kids after they disappeared? Guess the same that's gonna happen to us? Yikes! Did we ever end up working our shit out? I don't know. Maybe? I like the thought of it. Me too. Did you ever hash things out with Laura? I don't remember. I hope she found a better roommate at least. You remember anything that happened after this? I don't even know what year it is. I'm gonna go look around. Go for it. A wooden box with a switch and a light bulb. This is the accumulator, I guess. From before Nest's obsession made it a messed up mad science machine. Francine. Emily. I'm ready to go. I am too. It was good seeing. No, it wasn't. Yes, stare at the sun. That's totally a good idea. Homebody. Alright. One way to ensure she'll never see her friends again. God, that's a good game. The puzzles made sense, even if I started to get a little like, what do I do here? Like, it gave you enough information, and if you just kept exploring, you eventually came across something that was like, wait. And the fact that you had the memory map of everything was fantastic. God damn, it was good. And it leaves enough for interpretation. You did it. You got her outside. She was a homebody. I wonder what happens if I hit continue. We're gonna end stream soon, but I'm just curious. To have everything here? Yeah. Okay. You undo her healing. She starts all over. Fucking A, that was a good game though. Cool. Let's figure out who we're gonna raid over to, shall we? Loopy's playing Baldur's Gate. John playing Legend of Zelda. This person. Okay. Tell you what, let's raid over to someone new. Well, new for raiding. I want to start branching out again. I got really, really comfortable just doing the same thing over and over again for stream and raids. So we are going to go raid over to Hispanic at the Disco, who is currently playing Sekiro, another game I absolutely love. I don't know what my stream schedule is going to be like this week. I need to talk to someone to figure out what they're doing, because I'm going to be doing some odd jobs on the side to kind of make some money while I'm working on figuring out what the hell it is I want to do for replacing the job I just left. Kind of odd timing that I would play this game after dealing with all the stress I've been dealing with, but yeah, it is. So. And the meteor shower. The meteor shower is happening soon. Like, how soon? Starting tomorrow. The Perseids start tomorrow. Peak today? Ha! Anyway, like, really weird timing. I always say that is one of my superpowers. Anyway, we're going to go over to Hispanic at the Disco. Someone I met through Saito Cinco. Yes. There we are. Let me go ahead and drop a link in chat just for the VOD. I actually have liked that people are starting to do that as a habit. I'm going to try and pick it up myself as well. Remember, same as I always say every night, but I mean it every time. Be excellent to each other. Be excellent to yourselves. Take care. Thanks for joining me. I hope to catch you next time.